Alright, how is it going, everybody? So we're about to go ahead and... Oh, it's snowing, look at that. We're about to go ahead and get the last couple things done to the rear end, which is just brake lines. Because yesterday I went ahead and worked on the diff while we got the heater going. I'll wait out here before we run in there so I can finish talking real quick. But I got the diff filled. It's got the gasket and the plug in. It's filled with fluid. It's all good to go. Yesterday I was playing around with the flaring tool, trying to figure out how to make it work because it's a Harbor Freight 1. It's kind of junky, and I finally got the hang of it, but I was so tired I just kind of let it go and figured I'd wait till today to get the brake lines done, and then later tonight we'll go ahead and get that rear end in the truck. And since there's snow on the ground, we might find a parking lot with a lot of snow in Mexico to go test it in. But yeah, I'm gonna go run in there real quick, shut the heater off, and I got a couple things to tell you guys, and then we'll start working on brake lines. Okay, so before we get started on brake lines, first thing, there's the diff cover on. It's all sealed up, and I don't see any fluid dripping down the bottom. I didn't have enough brake fluid or brake cleaner to get the entire cover cleaned off. I just used it to clean the gasket surfaces out, and then I ran out, so I just did that. It's not like it matters that much. I may buy a new cover for this thing at one point in the future, but we'll see. But this whole rear end is everything is scored away on it completely except for the brake lines, which I'm about to get started on. I made a couple last night that I need to pitch because they're not going to work, but I'll go ahead and show you what was wrong with them and what I learned using it, because it's my first time really trying to use one to do anything but fuel lines, so it was a little bit interesting. But a couple things I want to talk about just really quick is, because I always forget to mention this in any videos and I've been wanting to for a while. First thing, if you guys want to follow me on anything aside from here, like social media wise, I do have an Instagram page. I will put my account name right here. I believe it is Mean Green Dak, or it's Mean Green Dak 1. I can't remember for sure, but I was using it here and there a little bit in the summertime. I want to start using it again some more for some stuff, you know, again, probably like just behind the scenes stuff, sneak preview stuff. Just probably just use it to post things ahead of time, maybe if I ever go out and do pictures or something of stuff, or maybe once we're doing like turbo things on this, I'll post little teaser pictures ahead of time and things like that. So if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on there, I'll follow you right back. And we do also have a Facebook page for the channel. It's been around for quite a long time, but I don't like using it because Facebook's group manager really sucks. It's overcomplicated and it's a pain. But if you do want to go like that page or whatever, if you prefer using Facebook over Instagram, or you don't have an Instagram, you go ahead and like that page, and if enough people go over there, I'll start using it again if people are interested in that. But it seems like most of the time people don't really like using Facebook groups for this. People prefer either Snapchat or Instagram, and I don't like Snapchat very much either. So yeah, that's my Instagram, just real quick for you guys if you do want to go ahead and follow me and maybe get some early snapshots of some of the stuff that we're working on. And yeah, that's it. So now it's time to go work on some brake lines. So here's the one that I almost had right, but I was tired and I forgot to file this end right here flat before I went ahead and did it. So it's kind of off center a little bit, as you can see on there. It's off center slightly, and that'll make it not seal good. Or maybe it was the other. Yeah, this was the one that was off center just a little bit. You can see it right there as well. It just doesn't look very good. And this one came out pretty good though. This one I was pretty happy with. The end of it looks good too. But, oh no, this was the off-center one. Yeah, this was the off-center one. That's right. The other one was the one that looked good. I was going to say, it looked alright. This one's off-center a little bit because I didn't file it flat. I forgot to before I did it. So I got to cut it, get my fittings back out of it, and then make a new one. But I got Harbor Freight flaring tool, broke one of the ears off of this, so I'm going to go in the house and see if I have nuts that'll fit that thread, so I can just use a wrench to tighten it. Here's the thing to do the actual like flare. This is what you do the bubble flare with before you do the inverted flare. There's a piece for the bender. There's my file that I was using. I was using this to hold on to the flaring tool because you've really got to crank down on this Harbor Freight tool to make stuff not slip out of it. Harbor Freight cutter. 3/8" wrench, that's what fits the brake line fittings. And I got a line bender. This is just an AutoZone 1 right there as well. I was using that to bend lines just because it looks a little bit cleaner, even though I probably didn't need it. But there's that as well. So the plan for lines, though, is originally I was going to try to run them through these, but I think, at least for this side, I'm just going to run it straight over and then kind of, I don't know, pull it back a little bit so that it can go up into here since this thing sits at an angle. But I'm not going to try to run it through this because it doesn't really need to. It's less bends, and they tend to collect rust when they're stuck in these. For this side, I am missing the piece that's supposed to go here to hold the line, but I think I'll be okay if I just run it across back here and over. These lines don't move unless they get hit by something, and even in that case, if I had, you know, like the one here, it would still move if it got hit hard enough anyway. So I'm probably not going to run this. I'm just going to run straight from here across, over, and then down into there, just to make it a lot easier on me when they're coming in and out. And one thing that'll be nice about not having them on there is that when I go to put the U-bolts on, the lines won't be in the way. I won't have to worry about catching them while I'm putting the U-bolts in, and then I won't have to worry about doing them wrong and, you know, not being able to get U-bolts to go on if they're already there. Plus, they're likely to get damaged when you try installing your rear end with them already attached. So that's the plan. I'm going to go get some line pulled out and cut off of that roll I've got here. And just bend it by hand a little bit. Maybe clean up some of the bends with the bender. And then get some flares going. Get that first line done. And then do the second one. And show them to you guys. Just I'll throw them in real quick. Let you guys see what they look like. And then that'll be the end of this video, I think. And we'll be able to go and put this rear end in the truck later tonight. Alright, so I've got this line cut and bent. All it needs done is flared on the ends and fittings slid on and then flared. Make sure if you're doing this that you remember to put those fittings on, otherwise you're screwing yourself. But that's pretty much ready to go. Now, one thing I've been doing, since after you cut you end up with stuff hanging over inside of the line, I've been actually just using this drill bit, which is slightly smaller than the inside of like the clean end over here, to like bore it out and then filing it down by hand with this file and getting it nice and flat on the end. Otherwise the bubble flare will be junk and then your inverted flare will be junk. But the line's about the right size. I wanted to cut a little bit extra in case I do have to redo it or adjust it, but it can go in like that, and I'll come down here and tweak the bends once I have fittings on it to maybe make it look a little bit nicer and whatnot. But it's basically just going to run from right there up and over, and that's it. It's about the right length and everything. So I'm going to get this one done, thread it in, and then go ahead and do the other long one that's got to run over, get it cut, bent, flared and everything, and then we'll have both our lines done, and this rear end will be 100% ready to go on the truck. Okay, so I've had to start over on a line kind of again, but something I want to show you guys or tell you guys about. The Harbor Freight double flaring tool is a pile of shit. Don't ever try to use it. Don't ever trust it. If you have one, throw it out. Go to AutoZone and buy their OEM one. It's like $20 from AutoZone. I think the one from Harbor Freight isn't that much cheaper, and the Harbor Freight one is pathetic. I could not get a good flare with that thing, no matter how clean, perfect, and straight I had the end of this line, how well clamped down it was. I had the stupid wing nuts to tighten it down. One broke, and you could never get it tight enough. It had that stupid little handle on its little thing. It was just frustrating to use. It kept making crooked flares, cracking the lines and stuff. So I've gone and, well, I think I threw the handle away. I threw the rest of it in here. But the nice thing about the OEM one is, let me just grab the, I'll grab the Harbor Freight one and show you guys real quick. I like my Harbor Freight tools, but this is one. So one thing, the flaring area is a little bit deeper on the OEM AutoZone one. They're both, I mean, quality-wise, they're about the same thickness and weight and everything. Don't have the stupid wing nuts, and these studs actually come out. If you strip them out, you can actually replace these studs. They got Allen heads in them, which is nice. I can use my wrench on it, and it doesn't have the hinged bottom portion, so it's easier to get this thing to sit even, the two halves of it. And the other cool thing about the OEM one is if you compare these, The OEM one, which is the one in my hand, has this little step on it, and the Harbor Freight one doesn't. And what that is for is when you're putting your line in, you can use it to make your line sit at the perfect distance out of the tool. That's what that's for. And each different one from the OEM kit has a different height. So we'll grab, if it'll come out. Oh, there it goes. So this one for the bigger sized line sticks out about twice as far. So just wanted to let you guys know that you cannot trust the Harbor Freight flaring kit to flare lines. I would trust a single flare from this tool more than I would trust any double flare from the Harbor Freight one. So now that I've got that figured out, this is what my new flare looks like. Pretty much perfect. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And I'm about to do another one real quick so that I can get this line bent and install it and show that to you guys. But I wanted to go on a quick rant, tell you guys that the Harbor Freight tool is complete crap. Don't try to use it. If you have one, it's pretty much useless, unfortunately. So, oh, and the handle, this thing was bent on the Harbor Freight one. I don't know if it was bent from me using it or if it was just crooked the way it came. But this one's been doing great. I'm really happy with it. I'm still making sure that I get everything cleaned up and nice and flat and whatnot, but even if I didn't, it would still come out better. So yeah, I'm going to go finish this line, get it bent, and put it on there, show you guys that, and then get the other longer line done. Okay, so all of the brake lines are completely done. Let me grab this light real quick so you guys will be able to see a little bit better. But I got them completely done. That OEM flaring tool did a great job. And this is how I ran them. So that one, of course, it has to be elevated a ways so that it's not touching the U-bolts. And it just runs up and over. I might get something to stick underneath of the line so that it doesn't like rub against the bottom of the axle right here. Or I may just pull it up and hope for the best. Since the lines are coated, it should be okay. But it just runs over, bent it. Some of those bends were by hand, like over here, and then I used a tool for some of it. And then right here, here's this one, and it should clear the shock just fine with it being right there. That's kind of why it's got this bend here and then over. The only reason it had this much length, if you look back here, how short that straight section is before the bend, it made it extremely difficult to get that fitting pushed back far enough that I could actually get the flaring tool on it with the fitting on. So on this one, which I did first actually, I made the straight section really long, probably a lot longer than it needed to be, but it worked just fine. I'm happy with it. I may go and bend it a little bit more by hand if it is close to a shock, but I think it'll probably have another inch or two between it and the shock anyway. And it just does that zigzag right there, which is to keep it away from the shock and allow it plenty of room to bend and go into that fitting, the block fitting, and that's it. Runs up over there, sits well above where the U-bolts are going to be, and that's all it is. Brake lines are pretty easy. I was kind of afraid of them at first, but pretty straightforward to do, especially if you get new fittings and a good tool to flare everything with. And yeah, they're all on, so now I need to go and pull those back off, and everything's completely done for the rear end, and it's time to go get this thing jacked up on stands and start pulling the rear end that's in it out. So that's where I'm going to end this video. Tomorrow's video will be rear end being installed real quick. I did go and buy a new U-joint for the truck, just in case the one that's in there is junk. That's a Moog one right there. And if the one that's in there looks really good still, I'm not going to try and pull it out just so that I don't have one more thing go wrong, just in case I have issues. It's one less thing I should have issues with if I don't go ahead and change it, and I'll just keep that one around because eventually it's going to need one at some point. Those tend to go bad around 200,000 miles, which is why I bought that one, because I'm at about 175K right now, and it's, you know, probably the original one still in there, but sometimes they're hard to get out too. And if I'm doing all of this work, having one less thing to worry about for now is going to be nice. But yeah, rear end's completely done. Time to go get that thing jacked up. I'm excited. There's snow on the ground outside right now. It's coming down pretty good, and it's getting dark as well. Nighttime's coming, so we may go make a trip out to Mexico and do some snow donuts or something and test this limited slip out, and also test properly functioning back brakes as well. That'll be nice. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching this video. and I will see you guys tomorrow.